All right, so the final demo I'm going to do is for data visualizations. So let's just get into it. Hit here. So first we're going to do the... so first off, you can do two things. You can pull data from a data set or create a data set from the database using a query and then create a data visualization from that. Or you can use some of the files that we've already created here. So let's go ahead and do the data visualization for a file first. We're going to go ahead and select this mortality age file that we did earlier. I'm going to go ahead and just do a data visualization from that. We're going to go ahead and do a donut chart out of that. So we're just going to kind of narrow down some of the data and put it into a nice little donut chart. So first we're going to select what type of chart. Again, donut chart. Go ahead and select which fields we want. Again, just typing, these would typically be typed in. And then we want the specific values. So we're going to just do, we're going to do the United Kingdom as the country name. We're going to do the year 2000. We're going to use male, sex, male and female, and then we're going to aggregate. We're going to take aggregated values from the number of deaths and then percentage total of number of deaths for male and female. So again, we're just kind of defining what we're doing with the values early on here. We don't need an X and Y axis, so we're going to leave those blank. And then we're going to go ahead and define our titles and our colors and our some of the things we want, like putting it in percentage, using males and females as the labels for the chart, pink and blue for male, female, or pink for female, blue for male. Then we're going to go ahead and say calculate the total number of deaths in the year 2000, and then show which percentage, and basically the donut chart will have two wedges based on that. So we're going to go ahead and do that. One last check. Looks good. Go ahead and run it. Okay, as you can see, we got something back, but we're kind of cut off here. So I'm gonna go ahead and retry. Just do it one more time. So again, this is just showing you how the output can be changed. I'm just gonna go ahead and run it again just to see if there was anything that. If it'll just change it on its own, or we have to make an update to the prompt. Okay, so that looks pretty good. So again, we got male, female, 52%, 58%, or I'm sorry, 48%. Number of deaths, so that's a pretty good looking chart. Again, this is taking away what, taking the code or the file data that we had and turning it into a visualization using AI. So that looks pretty good. So I'm going to go back to the home page. And then as you can see, we'll have this input. We'll have the code for that in the Python, and then we will have the data. Well, actually, we don't have any data, so we're just going to have the visualization text, meaning the input that I just put in, and then the code to create the data visualization. So we're going to go ahead and create another one here. This one, we're going to go out of the database. So go ahead here, So again, this is the same database we're using. We're going to call this DV demo 1. Then we're going to go ahead and use a query that I've already written to go ahead and create our data set. This is going to be cities in that with that customer data that we looked at earlier. So the top cities, we're going to take the top cities and just show what they look like in a bar chart. So we're going to create a bar chart here. We're going to go ahead, and the custom data fields are going to be obviously the city and the total price, the total payment. Go ahead and select the values. So there's that. And then the x-axis is just going to have the city name. So we're going to go ahead and put that in. Again, we're just kind of filling out a form, right? So we want to make sure we get everything that we get in here, so we can use this to create the code, and then also the visualization, and then also create the text that comes out. So here's that. So we're gonna go ahead and put in the labels. So the main title is gonna be that. The highest gross cities is gonna be the X. The gross payments by 10K. And that, and that. So again, we're just labeling the colors of the bar chart. Then we're going to go ahead and just do a little thing here, calculations. We're also gonna add don't cut off the labels. So again, we saw that earlier with the last one. I didn't happen to put it in there because it just happened to work. But if it kept happening, I would go ahead and put this in I would add, something like this to show not to do that. So we're gonna go ahead and run, and then we're gonna go ahead and run this. Again, if you were doing this to create something new, you would obviously be typing and adding it to the, making the changes. So here we go. Here's the thing. So this looks pretty good. Here's our labels. Here's our numbers. I think those numbers are correct based on what I've seen. So we've got a standard bar chart with that. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the home page. And then, so again, we get the demo 1 for the text. And then we got the code, which is here. So demo 1, the DV demo 1 for the Python script that it produces. So with that being said, we're just going to go ahead and we are just going to go ahead and do one more here real quick. We're going to use, let's see, I believe. So if I want to go ahead and check the data, I can go ahead and go here. So this is our data output. So I believe we wanted to do the freight and total price data set, but let me just see which one that is. Okay, so it's not that one. So it's not demo 2. I believe it was demo 3. So let's take a look. Okay, so that's what it was. So demo 3 had the product and the total freight. So I'm going to go ahead and use that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I think it was, okay, demo 3. Jeez. Okay. All right, so we're going to go ahead and use demo 3. So I'm going to go here, go ahead and pick demo 3, select. So now this is another, this is going to be a bar chart, but we're going to go ahead and stack them. So we're going to stack the freight price on top of the total price. So again, we're going to use all the data fields here. So product, total price, and freight value, and then we're going to, so values, we're just going to use all of them because there's only so many. And then the x-axis is going to be the product, whatever those products are. And then we're going to go ahead and for the x-axis, or I'm sorry, the y-axis, we're going to go ahead and use the total price and freight value because again, we're stacking them. So, and then with that being said, we're going to go ahead and take this and we're going to go ahead and put it in here. So this is going to describe how we're going to do the visualization, the main title, the products, the labels, what's going to be on what, the bars, so the different bar colors for each one, and then telling it to scale and make sure not to cut off anything, and then we want to clearly show that the x-axis in increments of 10K. Put a legend. So we're going to do it's going to create a legend so we can tell which one's which. And then calculations. And then again, this is sort of a free space, but we ultimately wanted to say stack the total price value on top of the freight value of each product on the bar chart. Okay, so we can say on the stacked bar chart to be more specific. And then go ahead and hit that. But let's go back and just check it out. So this is, again, this is what we were looking at before. So this is this gives you a preview of the data. So go ahead and hit that. So again, we already, if we were doing this live, we would just take, we would check it and make sure, we had all the right info in and it looked, it's readable. So that's another thing with these, that you just have to make sure your prompts are okay, because anything will sort of throw it off. So there we go. So now we have the total price, total freight. So this is just a kind of a legend of what's on what. So the total price is the blue. The freight value is the, we're putting it in K, in 100K, or well, in this case, it's going to be 10K increments. So let me go back here. I just want to check. So we can just kind of head back and see what the data looks like. Okay, so obviously this is going to be, so that's 1 million. So it looks like we're kind of off on our, okay, so 100 million, 100K. So it's just a little bit off on the scaling. So let's just give it another shot here. So again, this is just an example of what you have to do to go ahead and make sure that what your output looks like is good. Again, there's a lot of a decent amount of trial error in this. Okay, so that's better. So that's 100. It'll show that, and then there's the legend for each one. So, obviously, this is a little bit different. So let's just try one more time and just kind of see if we can get something a little bit more clear. But again, we would go back, try to define things, and just make sure that the legend looks a certain way, how we want it. But okay, so that's a little bit better. So 100K. So so this one is more doable, so we're going to go ahead and just go with that one for now. Then go back to the home page, and again, we see the code for that, the code for the demo. So it just names it after the demo. So again, all of these folders and all of these files are just how we define our output. So so that's the demo for the data visualization. Again, real just rough quick demos just to show you what we got. And obviously there's more intricacies, but in the end it's just all about looking at the output, seeing what we can do. And again, the complexity is what you can do with this is, in terms of complexity, is a lot more in depth than what I'm showing you now. So there's just a ton of possibilities with this tool. So feel free to comment and feel free to get a like or put a like and subscribe. Thank you.